Hi all, and thanks for being with me. My reflections on Trump for the next 3 years are going to be here to identify the degree to which Trump's buffoonery attempts to fool us all. And there are some of us in the media who will not be fooled. And there'll be commentators such as myself, podcasters and others who will either challenge what he has to say or accept much of what he has to say as being driven by some divine authority. And I'm here to declare that there's no such thing. But nevertheless, Trump will do whatever he can to influence the world according to what he is told by the last person who leaves the room. He's a man of no ideology, no real intellect whatsoever, has an incredible relationship with lying, doesn't understand what the truth even is, and does whatever he can to survive in a world which, according to Trump, is determined by the degree to which his ego is being massaged. So here we are in week 2. Now, I'm in Adelaide, South Australia. For those of you who don't know where that is, it's in South Australia. And today, the weather forecast is hot. Currently, the temperature is 39 degrees here in Adelaide, and in some parts of this state, it'll be in the mid-40s. Hot weather indeed, a contrast, in fact, to what people will be experiencing in the Northern Hemisphere. So our weather is extreme because I want you people to know, those of you that live in the Northern Hemisphere, and particularly in the United States, this time of the year we have different weather conditions to you because we're in a different hemisphere. Might be difficult for some of you to find out where Australia is on the map, but I suggest you give it a shot. Google it and realise that South Australia is in the south of Australia and has extreme weather conditions just like everywhere else because of climate change. And I'm going to talk today, though, about, forget all that. I'm going to talk today about Donald Trump again and his buffoonery. But I came across this really interesting article in the Sydney Morning Herald to kick this discussion off because there's some things in this article I don't agree with, but there's much about it that I do in terms of making us aware of where things are heading in relation to Trumpism, the rest of the world, and even here in Australia, there are some things that we need to be mindful of. We're making another post later on today in relation to that, and Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese. Stand by for that. So in this particular article, it says, after several decades of Green New Deals, conference of the party's meetings, globalised markets, reduced trade barriers, world banking, increased migration, United Nations treaties, and diversity, equity, and inclusion schemes in the developed world, Trump 2.0, who is busy undoing all these things, is about to show us what they cost. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this analysis, but it's making a reasonable point, I think, that we need to be mindful of. What do all those things that Trump's getting rid of actually cost us? This might leave some pundits with egg on their faces. What if it turns out they're not being a net benefit, or worse, a drag? It's only possible to pretend that the policies countries have been pursuing are unquestionably good when there is no control group for comparison. And to some extent, I think that is true. There is no control group for any of these wonderful, equitable and fair and different and progressive ideas. Within the USA, the panic has taken on a decidedly two-speed quality. Urbane man about the globe and Financial Times columnist Janan Janish is concerned about the great liberal shrug. He frets that Liberals have allowed a healthy acceptance of electoral reality to cross into a hope that Trump's second term won't be so bad. And I must confess, when I've been listening and watching other journalists talk about this issue, this is what a lot of them seem to be saying. So I agree with that. But it'll be worse, says Ganesh, because in the first 2 years of his second term, Trump will be unconstrained by the need to be popular. He can't win again, so he'll do what he damn well pleases. And there's no doubt that I agree with that assertion. And this is the problem about a buffoon, is that a buffoon such as Trump is not aware or doesn't care, should I say, about what other people may be thinking about any of his policies. He does it because it makes him feel good. It is about exerting power, demonstrating to the rest of the world that he is the most powerful person on this planet. And to hell with you for whatever you think, to hell with whatever policies are in place that help to develop a more equitable society, because according to Trump, that doesn't matter. And according to this article, it could prove that none of those things that we have been doing in the past, diversity, equity, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, I should say, are issues that we need to worry about because they possibly don't have any relative outcome. But I disagree. I think they do. I think caring for other people and trying to make a better environment and a better society in which people can live, function, share ideas, and be similar, regardless of our race, ethnicity, or any other, or disability, I should say as well. Regardless of anything that might tend to want to separate us, we are all the same. After all, at the end of the day, we are human species. So this is important for us to understand that there may be some inequalities in those systems that we believe are important. You know, leaving the World Health Organization, how does that impact us and the rest of the world? Well, actually, to be honest, it just leaves China as being the major contributor to the World Health Organization and therefore the major influencer in that space. So why in the hell would the United States allow that to go to China? I do not know. But there again, this is the buffoonery, which is Donald Trump. And of course, more recently, apart from talking about the buffoonery which took place last week, this week, today being Monday, the 27th, it actually is a time to reflect on what's happening in Gaza. Now, I've been distressed, I guess is the best word, about what's been happening in Gaza for the last 16 months or whatever it is, because it seems to have taken a back seat very much to US politics, other world events, and has tended to ignore, I think, the Palestinian experience. But it's back in the news because of the ceasefire, and because, in this particular instance, because Trump has weighed in a way which indicates his lack of intelligence, his inability to understand the Palestinian experience, and not even the Israeli experience and the countries that sit around the Gaza, because he's suggesting that people just simply vacate their homeland and somehow make their way to Egypt and Jordan. So in this particular news article, Donald Trump proposes that large numbers of Palestinians should leave Gaza to just clean out the whole strip, has been rejected by US allies in the region and attacked as dangerous, illegal, and unworkable by lawyers and activists. The US president said he would like hundreds of thousands of people to move to neighbouring countries, either temporarily or could be long-term. Destinations could include Jordan, which already hosts more than 2.7 million Palestinian refugees, and Egypt, he added. I'd rather get involved with some of the Arab nations and build housing at a different location where they can maybe live in peace for a change. And I think that Trump's thinking he will build the housing, build apartment blocks, maybe, and somehow sell them to these refugees or to the countries so that they can. I don't know what he's up to, but it's more about what Trump thinks, how he thinks he could benefit from such a plan. You're talking about probably 1.5 million people, and we just clean out that whole thing and say, it's over. So we just keep people out of their country, forget about the fact that they have a connection to it, and we just say, bugger you, piss off, we don't want to know anything about you again, it's done with. In December, Schatz detailed allegations of incitement to genocide by 8 Israel officials and public figures in a landmark case filed with the ICC. This is evidenced by the fact that no one considers what the Gazans want, when they have barely started clearing out the rubble, finding the remains of their loved ones that are buried there. The Council on American Islamic Relations civil advocacy rights group said Trump's suggestion was delusional and dangerous nonsense in a statement that also described it as a proposal for ethnic cleansing. That's right. That's what it's all about. The Palestinian people are not willing to abandon Gaza, and neighbouring countries are not willing to help Israel ethnically cleanse Gaza. Trump's comments were welcomed by far-right Israeli politicians, and why wouldn't they be? The finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, described the relocation of Palestinians as a great idea and said he would work with the Prime Minister and Cabinet to create an operational plan for implementation as soon as possible. So certainly, for those people on the right and those people in the Israeli government, that's particularly on the right, would accept what Trump has said. But in true Trump fashion, there's no way by which he has consulted or thought about or reflected on what would possibly be something that the Palestinians would ever agree with. Because Trump has no logical or intellectual ability whatsoever. He is a buffoon. And it is evident from these sorts of statements and this way of acting that his buffoonery is so evident. So I just want to say, if you've got anything to say about any of that, please subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.